Okay, this time around we're going to play with some new tools like we do, specifically booleans and connects and other things that you don't understand yet, but we'll get there. So I'm going to start my old furniture file here, just so we have access to that wooden texture we created and some scale. I'm just going to grab these and move them aside. Well, actually, I'm just going to hide these. Click that. I'm going to keep the bookcase around, but the table and chairs I'm going to hide. So I'm just going to grab all those, go up here to display, object, hide, and hide selection. And now they're out of our way. They still exist. If I pull up the editor here on the side, you can see that I've got a table and 4 chairs grayed out. We just don't have to deal with them right now. So the first thing I want to do is we're just going to drop a cube and a sphere down in the center of the perspective here, and I'm going to move the sphere about halfway through the cube. You can see it kind of sticking out. Alright, now I'm going to grab both of those, and I'm going to come up here to Edit and Duplicate Special. And we've got some previous settings in here. I'm going to move those aside. I want a total of 3 copies. And we'll move them all, I guess, about 3 units in that first translate. Alright, so what we've got is we've got 4 spheres, 4 cubes now, and we're going to look at some of the different Boolean operations we can perform with those. So I'm going to grab this first sphere, shift click the cube, come up here to Mesh and Boolean, and I'm just going to click on Union. And now that's one object. So I'm going to hit F, we're going to zoom in on that. I'm going to turn on the X-ray and you can kind of see what's going on. So as you can see, here we have still a cube and a sphere, and they're very separate. And this is one object. But not only that, if you look closely, where the cube intersects the sphere, it's cut out pieces of the sphere. So it really is just an extrusion now from that sphere. Let me go back to wireframe mode, back to shaded textured mode here. And so that's that. I'm going to turn off X-ray. And now we're going to try something different. So I'm going to grab first the sphere, shift, and then the cube. Back up to mesh, and this time we're going to do the difference. And it took the first object that I clicked and then subtracted the second object. So now we have a cube-shaped hole in our sphere. We'll try this again. I'm going to first select the cube and then the sphere. Same thing, mesh, Boolean, and then I'm going to get the difference. And we've taken the sphere away from the cube. So that's what that looks like. Finally, and I don't think it matters which order here, I'm going to grab this sphere and then this cube, and we're going to look at the intersection. And what that did was gave us only the space that both of those objects were occupying. So we've got that. So you can see this can give us a lot of interesting new ways to play with these puzzle pieces. So move all those aside. I think what I want to try to do is just a quick door today using some Boolean. So I'm going to start with a cube, and we're going to do kind of like we did the bookcase. I'm going to play with my sliders here and pull this up to about 7. Depth at 0.25. All right. A little bit deeper door. We'll start here. This will be a big, thick door. Right, it's 7 high, so if I come over here and I move up on the Y 3.5, then it should be sitting right on the line. Okay, so this is eventually going to be a big, heavy door. Let's start with what we did last time. I'm going to turn my modeling toolkit, do a quick extrude just to do the offset. Not that much. And same with the other side. I'm going to select my edges. And here's another way we could have done the bookshelf if you're paying really close attention. So I'm going to do the connect. Let me scroll down. Let me do 3. No, I do want 4. Actually, I want more than that. There we go. So I'm going to do 6 segments across. Make sure to click out of that. I'm going to do it on the other side. I'm going to grab all these and push them in just a bit and offset them a bit. So we've got a, ooh, not that much. So we've got a nice panel door. All right, we've got some panels on our door. I'm going to go ahead and hide that bookcase now because it is getting in my way. All right, we're going to ignore that door for now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try just a quick cube. So I'm going to make a cube. Pull that up. Now this is something I could extrude, but we're not going to. All right. So, could have easily extruded these, but just to play with Boolean, I've created a cube that's going to be right through the door here, and that's kind of the panel where our doorknob's going to come out. So I'm going to grab the door, and then try and grab that cube, and I'm going to use the unity Boolean. So a union. And now I've got this extra item on my door. It's all one unit. And you can see where it cut in a line to make sure that everything connected. So I'm going to grab these faces on our plates now. 1 and 2, and I'm going to scale them just a little bit. So let me spin around. I'm going to grab this so it scales on these two axes. Just to give it some form, a little bit more this way. Alright, now I need a doorknob, and I'm just going to make a doorknob and jam it through there, same as we did before. So I'm going to start with a sphere. 20 might be a bit much. Let's pull this down to 12 and 12. No, that is too angular now. We'll go back to 20. That's fine. I'm going to rotate this down. Make sure that rotation's at 90 degrees. I'm going to come back and I'm going to change the radius to start here. Way too big. That might be more like it. We're going to go just a touch bigger. So we're going to 0.15. That's a good start. So I'm going to come to faces and try and zoom in here. And I'm going to try and grab Actually, let me do this. I'm going to try and grab all the faces in the center, which should be 20. And I've got 20 faces selected. Great. And I'm going to come over here to select, and I'm going to click on grow, and that's going to increase. It's just going to go out by one face or one whatever I've got selected. Let me do that again. So now I've got the top 3 segments of the sphere, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale that. So we can flatten that portion. And now it's a little off. I'm going to move it in. And it's flatter, but if I click off, you can see it still tries to round there. So we're going to play with another tool. So I'm going to go to Edges. I just want to select, and if I double click this edge, I get the whole ring. I'm going to come up to Mesh Display and Harden Edge. Go back to Object Mode. And so now you can see, when I click off, it has indeed hardened that edge, and so it's really trying to render those as separate surfaces. So now I've got a flat front for my doorknob. I'll pull this forward so I can work with it, and we're going to come around back. And we're going to do some extruding. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Vertex, and I'm going to grab this very center that I don't really want, and I'm going to use Control and Delete. Now, if I just deleted it, I could end up with some weirdness, but using just Control, it took out everything and left our faces in place. So let me go to Face. What am I trying to do? Again, to grow, and one more to grow. Actually, one more. Now I'm going to go to my modeling toolkit and we're going to try and extrude this out. We'll keep that and we'll do the scaling ourselves. So now we've got this out here. Pull it back in. So we've got a little bit of angle. And then we're going to scale it flat again. Move it into place. I'm going to abandon this offset. This does not seem to be what we want to do. So Command Z. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to grab. We've already got geometry in place to give us an offset. So I'm going to grab the middle. I'm going to grow one more, and we'll just extrude that. If I can grab the proper handle. All right. So that looks like the start of a doorknob. Now here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to translate it 2 over this way, and I believe I want to go 180 on this axis on rotation and duplicate that. Okay, I went the wrong way, but I got the right orientation. So let's. Oh, I had 3 copies on, didn't I? I'll undo all that. I only want 1 copy, and we'll try -2 here. There we go, that's closer. All right, I'm going to ignore this door for a little bit. Pull these closer together. Just pulling these apart to get the right spacing, which we can adjust later anyway, but we're playing. All right, so now I'm going to pull these out so we can see what we're doing. And another way that we can attach things when they don't intersect, like with the Boolean, is with a connect command. So I'm going to come up here to mesh, and we're going to combine these. And now they're one object. And now that they are one object, I can perform a bridge. So I'm going to grab some faces. Grab that center face in each side. I'm going to use the select and grow. And now I can bridge. I don't need all that. So 0 divisions. Now I've got a doorknob that goes all the way through, or this could be a dumbbell even. So we go to object mode. Why is object mode so hard to select? Right. So we've got a doorknob. We can Boolean right into our door. I'm going to first, so look, when we did the combine, it reset the pivot point for that doorknob down there, which is kind of crazy, right? Because that's not where we expect to grab it. So I'm going to come up here to modify and center the pivot, and now it's back up where we need it to be. Let's move that into where we want it to be on the door. I'm going to hit spacebar, and we're going to use some of our other views to make sure we have this right. So hovering over here, move in and click F. We're going to move it up a bit. Now we'll move it down. So we've got it positioned. I'm going to grab the door, shift and grab the doorknob, and we're going to Boolean these things into one big object. So mesh, Boolean, and union. We still have a solid door. And finally what I want to do is put a keyhole in. So again, I'm going to start with a sphere and a cube. Just going to drop those down at origin. Actually, I don't need a sphere. Delete that. I need a cylinder and a cube. Rotate that to 90. I'll pull this down to 16. And let's just move it out. Move it out to 6. Let's move this one out to 6 so that they intersect just right. I'm just going to grab this face and pull it up to elongate it, and my cylinder, put the height at 1. Nearly perfect. Back to face. I'm going to pull this up just a bit. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do a union on these so it's one object. It's way too big right now. Grab the wrong tool. Grab my scaling tool and scale this way down. And let's move it back. Oh, again, when we did the Boolean, it reset its coordinates. Keep scaling. It's almost too small, not impressive enough. Okay, there we go. I would make a duplicate of this real quick, so I'm going to Command D for a quick duplicate, and we'll move the duplicate across to the other side. You can see they're both in just a bit. I'm going to move them in. All right, now comes the fun. So I'm going to grab the door and then grab the keyhole, and I'm going to do a Boolean and the difference. And now we've carved a cool little keyhole into the door. And do the same on the other side. Cool. All right, now the final thing we're going to do is we're just going to texture this thing. Just for now, knowing we're going to have a problem, I'm going to just turn on the automatic UV unwrap so that it's out of the way. Now we're back here, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to apply that wood that we had earlier. Except a wooden door handle doesn't make much sense, does it? So here's what we can do. I'm going to try and grab these faces all around the door. All right. So just did a quick window grab, got everything there, and I'm going to use my Shift and unclick a bunch of these. Control also works really well because it only does minuses. So use Control, click these guys away, and now we should just have all the pieces that we Booleaned in. And for now, we can take those back to the original Lambert, and so they're just gray. Real quick, we're going to open up Hypershed. We're going to make that a little darker, give us a new Lambert. Actually, we want this shiny. Let's make it a blend. Metal gray. Let's choose a nice dark color. And that's created. I accidentally did some undos and may have lost it. Alright, back to metal gray, back to the dark color. Get out of there. We'll select these again. We'll assign metal gray. Alright. There we go. Using some Boolean commands, we created a door with a keyhole and a doorknob. And that looks not too bad. So what I want you to do is turn in this file. Let me unhide everything. Move this door out. So we've got the start of a room. All right, we've got a door now. What I want you to do is turn in all of this that we just did, the door and the furniture we did before, and then I want to challenge you to use these new tools to make something else. So using Booleans, using unions and intersections and differences, create something else. You've got a new way to use puzzle pieces. I want to see how you use them.